There has been several drug busts in Chatham County, one overseas. Now, during the hours on Friday evening, CNT, with the assistance of Savannah police, conducted a search warrant at the residence in the 100 block of West 55th Street. The search warrant resulted in a seizure of approximately 9 ounces of powder and crack cocaine, 2 ounces of heroin, marijuana, and items commonly associated with the distribution of controlled substances. Also, police seized the 3 firearms, $3,000 in counterfeit U.S. money, and more than $11,000 seized. And the seized drugs has an estimated street value up to $70,000. Also, CNT arrested the target of the investigation, 47-year-old Daryl Phillips of Savannah. The Phillips was also charged with multiple felony drug and weapons charges to include trafficking cocaine, trafficking heroin, possession of controlled substances with intent to distribute, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Phillips is a felon who is previously convicted of armed robbery. Now, there's another drug bust that happened in Savannah on Thursday, May the 31st. Undercover officers conducted surveillance in the Brownsville neighborhood, CBV. I did a video on that a few weeks ago. If you want to see that video about CBV, the link is in the description box. But they conducted a surveillance in Brownsville at Jefferson and Montgomery Streets corridor and in the Fred Wessels neighborhood. Detectives approached several individuals in those areas. After observing suspicious transactions being made, the suspects were found to be in possession of marijuana and other drugs, firearms, and several drug-related objects. The following individuals were arrested: Isaac Young, who's 36, John Passmore, who's 36, Joshua Gwent, who's 23, Nicolia Ashley, who's 19, Carlos Johnson, who's 29, Bequan Ferguson, who's 28, Brandon Roberts, who's 25, Hazard Dontre, who's 23, and Anthony Grant, who's 22. The investigation resulted in the seizure of 400 grams of marijuana, a bag of ecstasy pills, 5 firearms, of which one was reported stolen, and several digital scales, baggies, and other drug-related objects. And they all were arrested on June the 1st, so they only been under investigation for, what, a day or two, maybe like a full day until they were arrested. And also, there was another drug bust in Chatham County. On Sunday, CNT made another bust in a separate investigation. CNT, with the assistance of Chatham County Police, executed a search warrant at the residence at the 9900 block of Bond Avenue on Sunday. The search warrant resulted in the seizure approximately of 13 ounces of crystal meth, 2 ounces of heroin, multiple pounds of marijuana, and various forms of prescription medication, all opiate-based. 5 firearms, one of which was stolen, were seized. 3 vehicles were also seized as well. The operation was the result of a collaborative effort between CNT and CCPD, Chatham County Police Department, and the investigation is ongoing, with future arrests is expected to become of this. And they seized narcotics that has an estimated street value up to 53 grand, what the report says. And man, in my last piece of news as far as the drug bust goes, now this wasn't in Savannah or in Chatham County or in the United States. This one actually happened in Jamaica, in Kingston, Jamaica. A guy by the name of Marcus Mikey Scott, who's 38, who was on the run for more than a year and a half, has been found outside of the United States in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, Chatham's Savannah Narcotics team has arrested 38-year-old Marcus Scott of Savannah. He was located in Kingston, Jamaica on June the 4th. Scott turned himself over to authorities at the Kingston Embassy and remains in custody while awaiting extradition back to the U.S. Scott has been wanted by CNT since September of 2016. As the investigation developed, it was determined Scott was likely in Jamaica, at which time authorities requested Jamaican law enforcement assistance in finding him. His arrest marks CNT's first international apprehension. Scott is wanted by CNT following a year-long joint investigation that involves CNT, the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, and the FBI. The investigation, which started in 2015 and ended in late 2016, identified a local organization in Chatham County that was responsible for distributing kilograms of cocaine, large amounts of MDMA, that's Molly, stolen firearms, and it was determined that the drugs were coming from Houston, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia. Most of them were being transported by semi-trailer trucks. The estimated amounts of being transported, as far as the weight, was between 10 and 50 kilos. with the wholesale street value up to $360,000, between that and $1.8 million or $2 million. And Scott was also deemed one of the top people in that organization and was the only person who has not been arrested yet or until now. And just to talk about the drug bust, as you see, some of them came from off the west side because, well, just to double back about CBV, you know, like I said, I did a story about that. The link is in the description if you want to see the video that I did about, specifically about CBV, how Cola Brownsville was created by black migrants. You know, that area now, man, every other like 6 months really they have some type of big drug bust that goes out there. You know, police do investigate that area really heavy. As far as like one of the areas on the west side that do have a lot of dope, that's known for having a lot of drugs in the area, like that area does have that, is known for having a lot of drugs in the area. And if you've been in Savannah, like how I've been driving a lot, you've been noticing that there has been a lot more Savannah police on the street. There's been a lot more Chatham County police officers. I mean, even just vehicles on the street patrolling in different areas in Chatham County, man. So if people are really out there, you know, trapping really hard, you know, like I said, I can't tell people what to do in the streets. You know, I just report on it. But when you're rolling with a lot of people, it's so easier to be recognized and it's noticeable, especially if you in a certain area. If you're in a trap house and you with like 6, 7, 8 other people, you know, a lot of people notice that foot traffic. You know, your neighbors or whoever that's in your same neighborhood, they notice how many cars pull up in the hour. Who's this person? Why is this person only here for 30 seconds? Why is this person only here for 5 minutes? You know, they notice that type of stuff. And when that neighbor noticed that, then they can say, well, I like to report some suspicious activity. There's some people always coming up here, different people. And there you go. There's your investigation. That's how it starts, like right there. And that's how a lot of people get busted, even in CBV. Even though you'll think that people don't follow the don't snitch code, yeah, I mean, there's people out there that won't mind calling the police, and a lot of them are old people. A lot of them are, I mean, there is some white people that stay in CBV. Don't get confused, like it's just 100% black people that stay in there. No, there's about a few white people or white, I wouldn't even say families, because a lot of those white people that stay in CBV, a lot of them come from SCAD